get started with the day. Hello, Mary Meets everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and while I am talking to you in the foreground, I have my Linux distribution being updated in the background, which theoretically, hopefully, will not result in a lot of issues of latency. We'll have to see how that goes, as I have not really done that before on a regular basis. I've done it maybe once in a while. We're going to send this out to Facebook so the Facebookers can get the message too, because they fixed that glitch that prevented the Facebookers from getting out the information about the shows, because before they were not getting them. And so people kind of were wondering why. Well, it turns out that YouTube finally got the developers to fix the problem. The question was, is it a Facebook issue or was it a YouTube issue? I don't know. But I am along with a lot of other people, put in trouble reports and let them know that it was not letting us share our videos on Facebook. So that should take care of that. Yes, you'll see I still have my ears on today. In fact, I did some really interesting tests. How you doing, Neil? I slept with them on. And I took a bath this morning. My hair was kind of grubby anyway. So, and I didn't take them off. They stayed on fine. Even when going underwater, I didn't have a problem with them, which is a fantastic thing, because I was like, like I said before, easy interactive wear. I'll be able to wear them and everything. Like they can flip them around a little bit with my fingers, and they don't go anywhere, and they don't fly off. Fantastic. So now, well, basically, people have been talking a lot about the show. And like some people have mentioned, they prefer the morning show because of the lack of pomp and circumstance. And of course, some people like the night show because of the pomp and circumstance. So there's no reason, like I said, we can't have both. Where we have the one show where we can get, silly and stupid, and the other show where we can try to be more like something you want to wake up and have a cup of coffee with. So, and that's why I do two different shows. Now, I do know everybody is rightfully concerned about what's going to happen with Biden and the Kamala Harris regime. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what's going to really happen, because Canadian Prepper is sitting there and giving us basically these horrific things of what's going on in Canada about trying the way that they want to seriously really clamp down on the virus, almost at the point of police stating or martial law. That's not surprising. With 132,000 new cases as of this weekend, clearly something has to be done. The problem is, how much of your sovereignty rights should you lose in the process? Maybe not. Is everyone at work now, right? That depends, Noodles, on which time zone you're in. If you were in the UK, they're in a level 3 lockdown, level 4 lockdown. If you were in Texas, you're probably dealing with a level 2 lockdown. And if you're in parts of New York City, you're dealing with a level 3 lockdown. So it depends. And some people may be home and they just basically have nothing to do. So for them, this show is fantastic because it reaches out to the European theater, which realistically cannot make it possible for them to come onto the show at the 7 o'clock night, which is about 5 or midnight in the UK. So those people prefer the morning show because that means that they can be bright-eyed, bushy-tails, and they can basically come and be part of the show. Whereas a 7 o'clock show Eastern time, 7 o'clock Eastern U.S. time. I know people say, is that daylight or is it standard? Connecticut uses the daylight savings time tool. So I would say, if I say during the summer, 7 o'clock Eastern, it means 7 o'clock summertime. If I say 7 o'clock Eastern and it's winter, which we are now in, it would be winter time. So you'll need to check with your local listings to find out what that would be in your local time zone. But frankly, it's normally not been a big deal for people to get the show on. Now, the next thing is as I said, there are people who are rightfully are concerned that Biden and Kamala Harris may decide to turn this into some major police state action, possibly even martial law actions to defeat the virus. I honestly, let's not make the cure worse than the disease, okay? Number one, the economy is just barely starting to recover at all, and it's going to take a long time to treat this virus. It's going to take a long time to crush the virus. As Nancy Pelosi would say, it's just going to take a while. There is, if you think about it, some good news about the virus. You got to look at the good and the bad here. Here it is. The good news is that we have a lot of people have benefiting, of course, from being involved in shipping and mail or delivery of packages of food, and e-commerce is big. Some people who, instead of going to the brick and mortars, sucks to be you, honestly. But for people like Amazon, Etsy, Banggood, and a few others that only do shipping, even Walmart.com, Peapod, which is a food delivery service in Connecticut. This is great, okay, for you, because you guys get lots of people buying your products, having it delivered to the door. So that's a good thing. It is commerce still going on. It's just that it's more focused in a different way than we would normally be doing it. How you doing, Carrie? The other thing the virus could have done that was some good is it reminds us just how fragile the human existence is, and that we need to be aware of the loved ones and the people that we care for, because they are just as much as vulnerable as you are. There's no Iron Man humans out there in the real world that this virus will take you down, regardless if you're Iron Man or Plastic Man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. The virus is not racist. Okay. It's I guess you could look at the next one as kind of a mixed bag. All the people that have passed away are going to result in more food being available for the rest of us, as obviously with less mouths to feed, farmers will have more food available for people to buy, and there will be less of a shortage. I guess that could be looked at as a good thing or a bad thing. Of course, it's a bad thing when it's your loved one that succumbs, and it's certainly a bad thing if you really, think about it, that, there's going to be one less human being next door constantly doing what they do, making noise and disturbing you. But it's you got to look at it from both sides, and it's not always easy to do. So how you doing, Deep State? Wow, so you're pro? No, I'm not pro genocide. Far from it. I'm actually saying is you can look at it from both sides. Okay. The resource. I mean, we all. I mean, the way that they see it is, we need to preserve everything and keep everything good and hot and fresh and save as many lives as possible, which I make sense and I agree with. However, how far are you going to go before you realize that you're also infringing upon the individual rights of the individuals? I mean, there's got to be a balance here. I mean, you can't lock everybody up in cages and basically say, oh, we're doing this for your best good so you won't die, but yet mentally you're killing them anyway. So what's the point? Um, human beings are meant to be social creatures, and we are meant to be together. And so you have to choose a balance between, of the two extremes. Lock everybody up and basically try to be nanny state and basically say, oh, you're not going to worry about it. We'll feed you, we'll clothe you, we'll take care of your pee, your poo, and whatever, and we'll take care of your personal needs. Oh, but you don't have to lift your finger, and you'll never be allowed to leave this cage called a house. Or, try to go about your everyday business, and if you get the virus, well, no one help to take care of the problem as it comes. Well, unfortunately, he tried the second one, and it resulted in 132,000 new cases in the United States alone. That's gonna be, which means, do we go to the other extreme, or do we stay at the idea of, born freeze the grass grows, freeze the wind blows? And that means that, unfortunately, if you go with the second choice, that means that there's going to be more casualties. I don't really know what the best solution to that is, but the virus has disproportionately affected people of color. I don't know where you are getting your info. I'm getting my info from a variety of sources, including It's Jimmy, Alex, he's a CPA, the CDC, World Health Organization, and a variety of places, as well as people I've talked to who have seen the virus up close. As far as the people of color, yeah, it would make sense, especially in the urban environments where everybody is so closely together. So, but then again, what are you going to have everybody do? Live out there, there's only so much land mass. So what do you do? Have everyone live about a mile apart from each other? That might work, but there's not enough land mass in the world to support that kind of agrarian type living in the middle of nowhere. That's gonna be very difficult to implement. I have been licking doorknobs in public to make my yeah. Apparently, Smecco. No, not Shrek. Far from it. But like I said, so anyway, people have said. Back to the other thing mentioned about the ears. I'm just gonna bring this up because people came in late and they didn't know. Here they said earlier, these ears work well. I slept with them on. I did not reglue them. I actually took a bath and washed my hair with them on. I did not have to reglue them again. The glue is sticking good. So the question is how long does the glue stick before the glue dries out and they come off? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Wear them until they fall off and then they'll have a good baseline. Love and Hearts, how are you doing? Vin Love. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Handis Buka. My best friend is in the mental hospital rehab. Oh, sorry about that. Are we discussing genocide? No, we're not, Ricky Den. We're just talking about what's going on with the virus and some of the extreme concerns that may be done to try to combat it, not necessarily genocide. Genocide, unfortunately, may happen anyway because depending on how it's being treated, the virus may end up being just like what we saw with what Erasmus did. In the Turnsville Glades with the killing of all those people. I hope we don't get that far, but you never know. 15 million minks will be slaughtered because a virus has been transmuted to minks, and in Denmark. So 15 million minks will die because of the virus. Because they're afraid the virus will reintroduce itself as a mutated strain into humans. Ouch. So what Erisus did was it could we end up doing the same thing in real life. I hope not, but oh my god, you never know. How you doing, Rachella? So Iraq, Heart, yes, we are discussing how there's good and bad and both sides Bonafire-based genocide. Love, Rickington, hello. Hi, Rachel, Michelle, hello, how you doing? Always watching. Has been a while since I seen you. You probably see my New Year's. Yeah. Oh, let me get you that way. Yeah. I would see that glue is tough. that glue is tough, man. Hey, I mean, you can like I said, I washed my hair with that. I slept in them. I slept with my ears on. I washed my hair with my ears on. I took a bath with my ears on. They are, yeah. Well, yeah. They're latex. They are adhesive. We use a glue. It's commonly used in theatrics and also in medical work called Prozac. This is the small little container, FDA approved adhesive made in New Jersey. This is used for medical and theatrical applications. Really tough stuff. Glue is tough. It's a contact cement for installing prosthetics and stage makeup. A very tough glue. I wanted to see how this stuff. Yeah, they glued to my ears. Like IKEA, but with BU minus. I don't know what that means. Always check out the website. Okay. Hi, Vinlo. Sorry about your friend. I don't know how you have those. I don't know how you leave those on, Michelle. LOL. Well, right now, the reason Michelle's leaving them on is she wants to see how long the glue holds before the glue comes off. Yeah, I want to see. Some people say they can leave them on for 2 days. Some say 3 days. Some say 4 days. I want to know really how long before you reapply the glue. If you need to reapply the glue, if I can keep them on for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's fine because that means that one, I won't have to buy a ton of these. I can just base, the amount as I need in advance. But that's another thing. Oh yeah, by the way, for those of you who didn't know, on my World of Warcraft, I finally got my garrison leveled up a bit. I got a barracks, and we are starting to train military in my barracks and do missions, and so my barracks are growing slowly. I'm going to work on, eventually I'm going to get up to the point where I can get professions buildings and a few other things too. And that's something I'm looking forward to. Oh, Rachel, you don't watch World of Warcraft, do you? Yes, there are brown hair elves, reddish brown elves. My character, which is a blood elf, is a redhead, and she is a brownish redhead elf. Emoji wise. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we have to go ahead and contact the people that sign character sets or emojis and say, hey, can you give us a brown-haired elf? Yeah. So, actually, let me pull up the character. Let me show you some pictures here. I'm not going to fire up the game. It's kind of a bit of a pain. Let me see if I can show you my blood elf characters. So, here we go again. Oh, dear God. Which one do we want to pull up? Is there any way you can just get the whole damn database? The whole database? Yeah. Let's see. Is this thing's... Okay, is this based on date? 0? No, it's not. It's not. Oh my God, I can't believe it again. All right, this is good enough for this. I'm going to open it with... I'm going to open it up with graphics converter. This is Michele. This is what she had her hair look like originally. She changed her hairstyle since, but why not? All right, so this, yeah. Where's my stupid cursor? Up there in the corner. Oh. All right, so now let me go ahead and turn this thing on so you can see the screen. So, edit, select application, graphics converter. All right, perfect. All right, so now we'll see what my blood elf looks like. She had changed a bit in the game a bit. You probably can see, but that's the way my character Michele used to look. She's a blood elf. That's what she does. She's a priestess. So it's just kind of a cute blood elf. And close that window now. Can you open up the other windows? What do you mean? Can you pull a database of all the different races? Come up with a catalog of all the stuff? Yeah. Let's see. Slideshow. Oh, that's a neat idea. Let's see if I can do the slideshow function. All right, so let's go to my desktop here. Yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't I do that? See if we can. Might be a bit faster. All right, so screenshots, retail. Hit choose folder. And start with one. Oh, available. Filter. Options. Start with selection. Hit choose. All right, let's try to do a slideshow. How do I rotate this? Next page. Really? Just hit play. I'm already playing it. I want to jump to the next picture. Let's closer up. That's the way she looks. That's Felenia. That's my other character. Are we still on the same screen? I think so. That's a great question. Can you even see that? No, only looking at you. Oh, shit. All right. So anyway, I'll just make it simple. I got my characters are. I'm gonna work on the slideshow. That'd be a great idea, Lil. I'm gonna work on that. Yes. Don't save. Thank you. Don't save. Those are historical. Those are my photo albums of all my characters, and yeah, I don't want to change them. They just part of me. All right. So love the ears. Thank you, MJ. The ears I got are a little smaller than the real ears, but yeah. The only thing is the real ears, they do have them, except I would love to ask the Night Elves a question. How would you sleep on a pillow with them? Because they stick out so far. You actually realize that the real ears stick out like big hooks in the back. And you're like, if you lay flat on your back and your pillow, you're going to do have your head over the pillow so your ears don't basically keep trying to poke you up and wake you up in the morning. Yeah. Could you put some wax eyebrows to get pointy with? Yeah. Another way to do that is somebody has actually made using synthetic hair, and actually she says you can make it with real hair too, is you can make craft eyebrows out of straight hair and a little bit of glue, like Elmer's glue, and then trim them the size. And then you use the same adhesive I use for the ears to attach it to your real eyebrow, and so they'll be look longer, like the night elf or blood elf and the night elf eyebrows. That's very possible to do that. I wasn't going to go that far yet, but first of all, I have to find a good source of real brown hair. And besides taking it off my real head and cutting off a couple pieces of curly hair, I'm hoping to God I can get it straight. You need like this much to make an eyebrow. Maybe not that thick. Yeah, something like this. It would look like something like this. Yeah, and then then you have to figure out how to blend it in to where my bridge is. Yeah, you could do that. And then he said it so it would look like that. Visualize. That's what it would look like. Yeah. So it's an idea. So yeah, you could. How you doing, Reckington? Oh, by the way, I finally got my garrison up to the next level of development. Right now, I'm in a war campaign. So right now, I'm in the middle of I was playing World of Warcraft for almost 6 hours. My butt was sore. I gotta go back and finish the game, the campaign after this show. So I gotta go back onto the World of Warcraft to continue to level up, so I can continue to build my garrison bigger. Now I found the secret. Garrison was one of the building's quests. Yeah, well, it's not unlocking the build garrison mounts right now. Is two things. Number one is I want to expand my garrison and get more blueprints so I can build the professions buildings. Because right now, like, I want to get a mining profession and the herbalism profession and I guess the fishing profession. If I can get those three, it's too bad I can't get cooking. Why? Don't they have a bakery or cooking building? I mean, wouldn't that be good for a person that has cooking as a main profession? After all, think about it. A priest makes people feel good, and one of the things people feel good about is when they eat. And so, wouldn't it make sense if you could have a cooking profession where you could actually cook a meal and, I would think that would count since that's my regular profession besides mining and herbalism is cooking. So that's kind of fishing and cooking the max and then I already upgraded because I already was a fishing person. I already upgraded to Draenor fishing and to Draenor cooking and Draenor herbalism. So I actually am still doing my professions en route when I can catch it. If I find a piece of ore or something on the way, I will harvest that, or same thing with fishing. I still have a fishing pole with me. I could actually go fishing in Draenor. I haven't tried fishing yet, but I'm going to consider going fishing in Draenor. How you doing, FC? So right now, like I said, I'm working on it. And now I said to the innkeeper, I know somebody will say, Michelle, they're NPCs. They don't hear yet. They can't care. I don't care. It gives me closure when they say something to her. So I do it nicely because I don't really know this person very well. I said, I'm going to hope when they're going to get you a tavern and an inn, so you don't have to keep putting people in cots, and you'll have real beds for people to sleep on. That's what I want to work on, is get real beds for my innkeeper, so she can actually have a real inn and a tavern, and that's like level 3. I got to really bust my tail to get to level 3. I'm already up to level 44 and a new global squish. And so it should be relatively soon I can get her to level 3, and then the inn and the tavern is like the final building, I think, professions. As far as getting leveling up my barracks to level 3, that's the next thing to do. That's going to take a lot of garrison resources to do and leveling, but I will do that. I'm going to upgrade. I was already offered an option to level up to level 2. The only problem is I couldn't figure out how to level up to level 2. So I want to finish this campaign I'm on now, and maybe I can get more blueprints. How you doing, MC? Like I said. So the years, like I said before, are doing good. And I'm sorry I took a break from the World of Warcraft for a while. It's just that, after a while I was feeling kind of like I was stuck in the game. And I need to kind of just back away from a little bit to kind of refresh my mind. And so I did. And I finally nailed off the few quests I couldn't finish. And then, as I've been doing. So, let's see what else we have to cover here. So, official word is that Trump lost. It's okay. I'm not upset about that. I know that there's definitely disputes about if the election was legit or not. I can't change it, so why worry about something I cannot change? If I can change something that's different, but I can't change the elections. I can't change the stupidity of what's going on. Just to accept. Now, remember one thing that's going to be good. Kamala Harris is vice president. Remember her emergency money for the People Act of $2,000 a month? $2,000 a month during the time of the COVID-19? Do you think she's going to totally let that baby go to bed and die? No, I got a feeling she's going to try to push it. The EMPTA is what other countries have been doing, and it really makes sense that they do the same thing here in the United States. I've calculated the reality of the numbers. It's scary as hell. It's a lot of money, but if we should have been getting at least $1,000 a month for the past year, since March. We haven't even been doing it because of all the wrangling between the Republicans and the Democrats. So even if it was $1,000 a month, as Andrew Yang said with universal basic income, it would still be better than nothing at all. However, unfortunately, it could also create hyperinflation as people are going to have more money to buy things. And so commodities, the businessmen will realize they can charge more, and people will still have the money to buy them. So that's, again, where you have to choose the lesser of the two problems. Either A, you basically got everybody's getting $1,000 a month, even for doing nothing, and that means everything goes up in price, which makes it a moot point, or you don't give anybody anything at all. Everybody starves to death and dies, and then you end up with level 2 of the concern of genocide. Okay, it's crazy. Pick one. Yeah, because don't worry if you pick the wrong one, because it's okay. All right, you're not going to be thrown in the maw for making a mistake. Maybe the jailer will give you a little leniency if it was an honest mistake, but I don't know. You know, it's up to the jailer at the maw. But myself, I don't want to see genocide. I don't want to see it happen like Strathholm, where we basically, somebody like a real world version of Erithus goes in there and kills everybody left and right to kill the plague. Oh my God, that'd be bad. That would be bad. That'd be things that we blame Saddam Hussein for. But I mean, there are some leaders in this world that were so afraid of this thing that they would probably do a Strathholm invasion and just killing everybody to try to get rid of the plague. I don't think I want to go there, but you never know. This world's nutty as it is. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But we'll see. No, we'll have to see. As far as a slideshow for my blood elves, and all my characters. Since I'm going to play World of Warcraft after this show, you will be able to watch me on the other channel, and you can see how I play the game. If you've never seen me play the game, if you have been watching the game, Rickington has. Carrie has. FC, I don't know if he's been watching the World of Warcraft gameplay, but if he has, I hope you enjoy the show. I mean, it's not really a lot of interaction. It's more or less me focusing on the playing of the game. Hello there. How you doing? Live in Philly. What's up with the ears? You like them? Yeah. Anyway, so people kind of like them. I actually walked into Cumberland Farms with these ears, and they didn't say anything. I showed them to Krista in the picture because I took them off in the morning, so I didn't want to embarrass Chris in the store. She said, I couldn't care if you walked in the store with those ears. I look good on you, actually. Thanks. Yeah. You know, the ears, they're made by a costume company. They're made by Wuchi, which is this company right here. And yeah, a little redhead. Yeah, that's who actually makes the ears. Is a company called Wuchi. Wuchi makes these ears, and they're just an off-the-market show ears from Wuchi. So you can actually get these like $15. They suggest using spirit gum to mount them. Spirit gum is kind of sucky glue. I guess it's okay for some people. May like spirit gum. I found doing research into adhesives that spirit gum kind of sucks. So I went ahead and I bought the highly recommended this type of glue called Prozaid, and this stuff is used in the medical profession as well. This stuff is tough. Very. You can easily really mess it up real bad if you're not careful with this stuff. This is like an $8 bottle. I mean, come on, you're talking about 1 ounce. I don't know how many milliliters that is. 1 ounce, $8. It's better to buy it in bulk. You can buy sizes as big as like a gallon. I don't need to spend $64 on glue. But you can buy it in huge sizes. It's great for theatrical work. What about fungus? I don't know how that's going to be affected or not. Obviously, any water that got in from bathing because the ears are not totally sealed, will drain out. As far as skin issues, again, I don't know. I don't know what will happen with the ears. It doesn't seem to have any rules of how long you can keep them on. So I don't know the answer to that question yet. Let me use glue for lace fronts and such, but it is completely different type. Yeah, there's a couple different adhesives. The Prozaid is a type of a contact adhesive. So you put it on the prosthetic, and you put it on the skin, and when it gets tacky, you kiss them together, and they stay. And they stay good, okay? You can sometimes reapply, take them off and put them back on again. But it's really is quite effective. You can use Prosade on lace fronts too, because it dries clear. People use spirit gum, or they'll use eyebrow glue, which is latex glue, whichever works for you. Latex eyebrow glue is not as strong, but it is flexible enough that you can actually, go for your eyebrows. You want to be able to flex them, right? Eyelashes. Yeah. So you use what works for you. But the Great Philly, one of the pages for sure. Gave me a different look on things. Okay, let's see further back here. What about the fungus? Think you're enjoying the content. Let use glue for lace fronts and such. Yeah. Ferber definitely gave me a different look on things. Join up. Okay. And MJ, yes. And then, of course, MJ says, Michelle, you should put half your hair up so we can see them better. Well, I could do better than that. I could put a headband on, you'd be able to see them better too. Stubborn. I don't know. It's not totally blending perfectly to my existing ears. The adhesive needs to be stuck right in here, the canal. I did try, and didn't want to stay that way. So that's the reason why I usually just keep my head on, though you don't see any kind of imperfections, because I think most people don't really care anyway. So that's debatable. I don't think these really have the kind of effect of acting as a scoop. The bigger night elf ears do. Not these pieces of crap from Blizzard. These cosplay ones. These are the ones that I originally bought. These have you wear them like a costume mask. The problem with this is that these ears are bigger, but they don't really help me hear any better. To make it better match my skin, I put some ivory foundation on them to blend it into the latex, which originally was very yellow, very sallow color. Now it's much better. You can see the difference. Put the ears to the other ears. These things are much longer. These things stick out about another 5 centimeters. So yeah, but these here are no better. They're floopy. I don't know if they're supposed to be like real ears or not. These are floopy too, but they're not as floopy. These are more rigid. And so these ears are, nice ears. How long have you had them? I got them about 2 days ago. I got them on Saturday, and I wore them on Saturday. The first time I put them on, I put too much glue on and made a mess. And then I decided to come back the next day on Sunday after I took them off overnight. And then I basically cleaned them up, and then I put them on again. And this time I tried a different way of applying the adhesive that would be less messy, and it came up better. And I guess I found like it was sit on my ear canals, earlobes better too. So that was a big difference. You haven't met too many Aquariuses, have you? Aquariuses tend to live on the fringe. We actually are very different than when Virgo. I'm Virgo and me too, because Virgo is my. I have 3 Virgos in my chart. My ascendant sign is Sagittarius, as is Little Me's. Yeah. So the thing that's funny is the ears just kind of just exemplifies my out of the world nature, I guess. It's something I couldn't get to the show Michelle, okay, I couldn't get to the get the fingers to show. I couldn't get the fingers to show. Huh? Okay. Well, anyway, the good news is we will be having a live show tonight at 7 o'clock. For those of you who are here, a majority of you guys know the 7 o'clock show tends to be a little more uh, inconsistent, for lack of a better term. And some people may sometimes mistakenly think I'm like my night show where things get crazy with the phone calls and everything. But the truth is I'm kind of like Dr. Johnny Fever. I dare to be different. If you let me to my devices, you'll see me doing all kinds of unusual things. That's my nature of being an Aquarius. We do that. But the Virgo in me screams, I want conformity, and I want standards, and I want quality. I was like, well, the Aquarius wins over the Virgo or something. Of course, the Sagittarius in me is like, oh, let's go take it on, dude. Let's go explore. Oh, right. Okay. Jasmine Jar says hello. How you doing? How's it going? Well. Let's see. Do you think they have a prosthetic to give you looks like a real kneecap to replace one that's broken in twain? They probably do, but it wouldn't do me a damn bit of good. Ew, you got two bumps on your knee. Yeah, well, first one's a real kneecap that's broken in half. The second one is a prosthetic. Make it look worse than it really does, right? Yeah. I see, because my kneecap is broken in half. On my left knee. It's totally broken in half. Split. Snap. Like a wishbone. Yeah. The problem is you can still see the two pieces of my knee. One part is way up there. That's the ulta patella. And the other one is the piece is still attached, would be attached to in the bottom, which is still attached to the bottom. And it's not sharp, but, it's... part of that was because arthritic damage, because arthritis. It just totally weakened the knee, and it just went snap. Like a piece of glass, just broken in half. So yeah, I got this kneecap that's just totally messed up. So for March and from February or from December 6th until around March, I could barely walk at all, and it didn't help anyway. And the fact that the woman I was living with was a control freak to the maximum. And it was a pain to my gluteus maximus. I mean, this woman was bad. But she kept me alive for 3 months. I guess I can't say she was that bad. But she had her own agenda, and it wasn't in my best interest. So I came back here, and I think February 5th. And yeah, it was February 5th. So I was at her house for almost 3 months, and I was like, I couldn't deal with it anymore. I just had to get out of there. I couldn't stream on YouTube. I couldn't do videos. I couldn't do anything. She would not let me use a computer. She didn't even have a computer. She said, I cannot understand why you want to spend 15 hours a month playing World of Warcraft. I think it's stupid. I think having your internet stupid. I think having you doing a YouTube video show is stupid. I was like, lady, what do you do every day? Oh, I listen to the radio, and that's it. She doesn't have a TV. Okay, fine. She listens to radio. She listens to news. That's all she does. I was like, okay, what do you do for fun? She didn't have any hobbies. She was like, I don't fun? What's fun? I don't do fun. I said, do you sing? Do you draw? Do you do anything? I mean, like, what do you do? Oh, she didn't do anything. Oh, I sleep. Oh, she she would sleep a lot in the day. She was so bored. Whereas me, I'm always wanting to stay active. It was emotional pain, not physical. Because my kneecap didn't hurt and my knee didn't hurt, but like I said, the emotional damage was quite extreme. So I was just glad on February 5th, because every night me and Lumi would pray to the Mother God, get us out of here. Get us out of here. Please, get us out of here. And then on February 5th, she says, get up, get dressed. It's time to act while the iron is hot. So, because Patty wanted to go back to my apartment to find out what she heard about some landlord changing locks on my door. Only changed one. I got the key later on. And then when my landlord was there, he already had broken his own wrist in his arm and falling on ice in the back of the building, where I fell in a teeny patch of ice on the front of the building. His arm is still messed up. He still can't use his arm. Like I explained to Krista, I said, well, karma's been balanced. That's basically what happened. Was I supposedly killed a guy named Soup Kitchen Pete and making him slip on black ice, and I slipped on black ice and I broke my kneecap. And then, of course, my landlord, which didn't see the black ice in the first place, and didn't even know he still missed the patch of his sidewalk, fell on the back parking lot, which was an ice rink, and broke his entire arm and his wrist. So karma's balanced now, because now it's one reason why he was willing to take me back, because first of all, he understood that first of all, it was an oops approach. And he knew that I didn't want to have Patty live with me. I just wanted to go home. And so he told me the back rent. This is back in February. So he paid the back rent. We got current in October or in September. And then in October, he says, well, the thing is I'm going to have to go up in the rent by 100 because everybody's rent's going up because my utilities are going up. And I said, 800 is a little more than I was expecting to pay. Oh, I'll tell you what. You fix my ceiling and you fix my pantry ceiling, and I'll give you 800. Less than 3 days later, he had a crew in here fixing my ceiling, and he opened the skylight for me in the hallway, which I've been wanting him to do for the last 15 years. He finally restored the skylight, which is nice. Now you can see the light behind me. This light is from a skylight. That is not from a fluorescent fixture up there. So that's the way it works, when negotiation. Because I'm pretty good. I'm pretty stiff negotiator. If you really, I really want something, I will negotiate. I don't make demands. I make negotiations. So, FC MJ says, F4 Consciousness says, hi MJ, I hope you are well. And of course, MJ says, FC, thank you, hope you are too. FC showing praying symbol. Well, pray for me too, please. I can still always use the prayers, First of all, I'm doing better than I could have been. I could have been a lot worse. People do recognize this. I could have fallen in traffic. I could have had my leg crushed by a bus. I could have been hit by a bus. I could have looked like something from Wile E. Coyote after basically get hit by a bus. And I wouldn't be able to walk away from it. I could have broken my back. I could have broken my hip. In December 5th. 6th. I'm still here. I'm still standing on my own power today. So, it's like my lucky star. I'm still doing things. Michelle, any chance you are ever going to dye your hair blonde again? Yeah, I was going to do that when the summer comes, or when the renters, or when the virus is gone deal, or if my rent goes down, which is probably not going to happen, or if the Emergency Money for the People Act that Kamala Harris kept pushing, or the Universal Basic Income that Yang kept pushing comes into a reality, then maybe we could do something with the money plus my regular disability, and we could, get my hair retouched again. Right now I'm growing my hair back, and you can see I got salt and cinnamon hair, which you can see that it's slightly reddish brown hair. Not too heavy, but just a little bit. I like the ears, Michelle. Thank you. That's great. Looking forward to you bringing back the official NASQ hair. Yeah, well, right now it's gonna have to wait for a few more months because everything's still up in the air, and we'll see what happens. By the way, I want to see. Can I pull up a picture of the? Oh, yeah. Is this thing done doing updates? Yeah. Oh, you mean I know what the yeah. Oh. Okay, let me just go check on something here and let Debian say. Yeah, I gotta make sure my Debian is up to date. Okay, pressing return to continue. That looks good. Just did a system update on my Linux side of the system. Yep. Thank you. Good enough for now. So, yeah, because I got two operating systems running on my computer right now. One in VirtualBox is Linux, and then we have the Mac running, of course, the main operating system. Apparently, Pfizer has vaccine that is 90% effective. That's great. Well, you know, the vaccine is going to be a start, but when you think of vaccines, is it going to be like the virus vaccine? I mean, the flu virus, or all of a sudden, we take a different vaccine every year because of the different mutations? I mean, that's the question. Is it going to be really a one-time or two-dose thing, or is it going to end up being something that we're going to be taking for the rest of our lives every year? Have a great day. Same to chat too. Well, thank you for being here. I don't know. I'm not anti-vaxxer, but I'm not pro-vaxxer either. I'm kind of like sitting on the fence in the vaccine because I mean, part of me says it's being fast-tracked through the system. I would rather see some more studies or more other people taking it for the early adopters to take it and then see how they react and determine if the vaccine is effective. I mean, Donald Trump was not in the ER or hospital very long. He was on Remdesivir. He was on a few other products to help him recover. So maybe there's something in his treatment that may be a clue of another way to deal with the virus besides vaccinations. At least that's, yeah. Also, the Canadian prepper said something very interesting that in Canada they're thinking about instituting martial law type thing. I will share you the video link from Prepper Princess. If you go to my Discord and you go to news and videos, you'll see the link that Prepper Princess does talk about the Canadian Prepper article. If you want to check it out on the Discord and the news and videos, there is an article by Prepper Princess that you can check. Also, we do have your prepper area on my Discord. Even if you don't plan to use it for a regular everyday thing, perhaps you could do some footage in there, giving some people kind of a quick guidelines of what to know for prepping and being realistic prepping guidelines. Michelle, are you actually considering taking it? Who do you think reports the findings of the vax? The media and the drug companies? Seriously, do you think that you will get accurate reports on them? I didn't say I was necessarily going to take it. I said if I was to take it, before I did taking anything, I definitely would seriously want to see a long-term study by the early adopters before I do it, because obviously I'm not sick, and just like the flu virus can make you sick with a strain of the flu, because that's the way the vaccines work. I don't know what would be the best way to do it yet, but I'm not going to totally close the door on it. I'm not going to totally leave the door wide open either. I'm going to play wait and see, which I'm good at. So I need more info from independent sources. Well, I agree with that. To make some kind of valid educational opinion. And on the other hand, you are relying on media to give you honest and reporting on it. Also, again, have you seen honest reporting on? First of all, I'll be honest, FC, I don't actually know anybody who actually has COVID-19. But then my friend circle's really small. So, I mean, I don't know anybody who personally has COVID-19 that I've actually went and seen in the ER. I don't have any personal experience with those people who have COVID-19 either. So again, all I'm going by, as you said, the media. And the media, unfortunately, we know is a lying, manipulative propaganda arm, absolutely. But I don't have anybody that actually has had COVID-19 that I could actually sit down and talk with and ask them how they were doing. So, Michelle, my grandmother had it. She's doing well, a lot better than expected. Well, that's good. You're the first real person I've actually talked to that actually had it. Other than, I think, Mary Beth Unger said her grandmother had it too. So, has not had. Okay. My sister-in-law passed from it, says MJ. Okay, sorry about that. So some people have obviously been affected by it, and other people have not been affected by it, either directly or indirectly. My aunt and uncle care for her, and they were negative. My grandmother is 81. Forever Consciousness says, Alexa, there are companies that have a well-documented history. Anyone remotely considering taking it needs their head examined. Well, I don't even know, some cases, if it's going to really be up to the individuals to decide that. If what the Canadian prepper is saying is true, it's not going to be up to you to decide that. It's going to be up to the government to decide who takes it. Or you're going to end up in FEMA camps. Pick one. Either A, you take the shot and basically go ahead about your daily life, or you become a prisoner forever in some internment facility. Which do you want to be? They, or are they both ignorant to look at both sides? Regardless, it's a disservice to their own health to take a shot from companies that have never had your best interest at heart. Right. To them, it's profits versus expenses, P&E ratios. And they may have a goal saying, we care about you. Just fork up the money when you leave, please. That's what they think. How much money are we going to make from this? It's not exactly true altruism. It's basically it's false altruism. Do you think they really care so much about how many people they save? No. They care more how many bodies they actually get taking their drugs. You fail to understand that I am not some sheep. If it's a death or the shot, I'll take the death. I'll stand my ground, as will millions of others. I will stand my ground too. I don't have a problem doing that. So if you fear means nothing, my suffering means more. Understandable. But there are people in this world, though, FC, that have families and children and pets that they're concerned about those things that are not just for themselves, but for their offspring or for those that they care for. I mean, if I died, who would take care of Rusty? If I had a family, if I had a child, who would take care of my child? It's something that's not so easy to say one or the other. If you have responsibilities you have to take care of. Anyway, go take a look at the article about Prepper Princess in my from Canadian Prepper in my news and video section, and what she brings up in the article by Canadian Prepper brings up is pretty serious. Well, Rachel's okay. Alexa says, private consciousness, I agree. I don't take flu jabs, and I never had the flu. I never took flu jabs either, but I did have the flu a few times. I usually come over if I usually recover pretty well. But COVID-19 is certainly no flu. I mean, it's a lot more serious than the flu. Let's see how you feel in the sentence. Okay. None of my children have been vaccinated. I take that back. My oldest was, but my middle or the youngest. MJ, there is a website where you can track your vote. You'll be surprised. FC says, Michelle, it's not a problem that others choose to be ignored. All the information is out there for people to see the disgusting patterns of suffering these companies. Yeah, I know what they do. I know. Be right back. I'll be driving, but listening. You still be live tonight? Yes, I will be on the 7 o'clock show like regular time. See, we could never had this discussion on the 7 o'clock show. The 7 o'clock show, we would not be able to have these talk. Because if we try to do this on the 7 o'clock show, it would be derailed within 3 minutes. Let's see. I'm not hyping FCRC, but she's very clever girl who researches what she speaks on. Well, thank you. People who choose to believe everything the media, scientists, schools, drug companies, religious, etc. dish out and face value are lost and more than likely going to take the shots. They're not our problem. Okay, maybe, but still, some of them really felt it was the right answer. I mean, some people decide those things. Human beings are very dynamic. There's been there's my cat. Rusty, what are you doing? Yeah, giving me headbutts. Human beings do what they do because they're driven by their emotions more than anything. And emotions, as Spot would tell you, are not a logical thing. Come on, get down. All right, emotions are not logical, Captain. Oh, I agree, Alexa. Michelle does her homework. She could do more with each their own. She knows not to trust them. And face right. Oh, Rusty, what are you doing? Gotta wait for my cat to walk by. Trust him at face value. Or at least I hope. I don't trust him at face value. What she said is really concerning, though. Well, there's certainly an agenda going on. Yeah. Yeah, there's an agenda going on. Just it's frustrating. It's also notice that I want to tie it into something else. Politics. How come very simply that in the United States we were seeing riots similar back to those at the time of the civil rights movements in the 1960s, with Antifa and BLM pushing for riots against the white people, racism, anti-Semitism, and other things. One of the questions that makes me wonder is the mainstream trying to split this country in half? Seems like it to me. Let's see. I met you, Forever Consciousness. You're close. FC is a guy, by the way. But he certainly takes his time to research stuff. Yes. And so do I. I'm starting to suspect it's possible, although a long shot, they may write in a new election into the script. If they want as much derision as possible, they might, all it takes is Trump going to court and proving the fraud existed. It could. You know what I would do? If I was the judges, I would say, let's throw all the election results out and start over from scratch. And have all the states agree on the same rules from the beginning. No ballots will be processed. Mail-in ballots will be no later than 3 days before the official due date. And will have to be physically postmarked 3 days prior to the due date, which will be the election day. The election day is when people will actually go to the polls and vote. That way, say around December 1st. That way they can get an honest-to-God real start over, not trying to reuse old ballots, which may be questionable, and can just get... Of course, someone says, but what about the states as a legitimate majority for one or the other candidate? All states will throw away those ballots and start over. All states. Not one, not five, not six of them, all of them. That way it's fair across the board, because remember in the election, some people wanted to change their votes, and that's where part of the problem stemmed from. This way, everybody can basically vote the right way they wanted to vote the first time, and there'll be less bullshit. And then we can actually have an honest-to-God, new clean slate of numbers to determine who won, and not have to worry about trying to piecemeal this together with God knows ballots from what pile that they're coming from, but rather everybody will be starting from the same place, from the same steps. What's where Martin said? Forever consciousness, nightbot, listen to those shows, forever consciousness. All right, I'm going to court. Okay, going enough fraud existed. Yeah, okay, Martin. The mail-in ballots were a huge issue, and I suspect that if it goes to court, a new election could actually occur, which would be the funniest thing ever. But mark my words, if it happens, you all better get prepared, because the country will be turned on its head. Prepare if a new election is called. Not much some of us can do about it. Honestly, not everybody's going to be able to go ahead and run in their bunkers and their bomb shelters whether your supply of MREs and basically act like it's nothing. Some of us are going to be stuck out there in the war zone, and includes me, even though I'm kind of in the suburbs. I would basically be right there in the front lines, unwillingly a combatant in a battle that I cannot win because I'm not prepared for it. I don't have a sword. I don't have a knife that would be usable. So yeah, I would be ill prepared to actually go into combat over an election score, a recount, or starting over. But it would be better. Michelle, I think buying some seeds and growing lights is a cheap alternative for you. Just some small proportions can make a difference. FC, I have been stocking up on supplies when I can. Okay? What I don't have a sword right now. I don't have a dagger. I don't have a sword. Swords are like $300, and for a nice double-edged European sword. And I have intention of wanting to buy a sword as a weapon. I prefer them better than a firearm because they're, for me, they're safer, and there's less likely charge of discharge because of a sword misfiring or whatever. It's just straight piece of steel. How can you can't even misfire. And it can certainly do a lot of hit points of damage, even in the hands of a legally blind person. If we really got bad enough, I could still run you through with it. Not that I want to be around cleaning up all the blood, but that's the reality of a sword anyway. I know I've looked at this, but I do value videos on how to economically prep. Yes, I'm worried that my USA cousins, I don't like what your government is putting you through. I hope you find a way to peacefully sort things out. That's good for everyone. That's what I want too. Because it's going to get ugly. If it already is ugly, Antifa and BLM are acting as instigators and creating problems. A lot of white people have been killed because of BLM and Antifa actions. And everybody keeps talking about firearms, and firearms is only one type of armament. If for some people we can't handle guns, we can't shoot guns. Some of us hate guns. I don't necessarily hate guns. I just don't like them because they depend on the consumables, and you got to make sure you have bullets on hand. And they're also noisy. Or if I have a sword, or if I have a crossbow, oh my God, 160 pull drop crossbow would be very difficult for a woman to do. But if we have weapons that we can use that will be something that we don't have to depend on consumables on, if it came to that, that's better. Oh yeah, if you know how to fight with self-defense using your hands, like karate or judo, that's fantastic too. But I don't have the kind of hand-to-hand combat using fists. It's funny because I play a warrior in World of Warcraft, and I get creamed repeatedly. However, as I worked on my rotation, I got better at it of taking down bigger prey in Classic. But that's kind of abbreviated the combat. If you really going up against a real person in real life, in a real close situations, it becomes even more challenging. The standard 36-inch sword is not a perfect weapon in close spaces. That's why you want to have to switch to your dagger or your dirk. Because if you're trying to go in a small room and you're trying to swing a sword, 34-inch blade, then yeah, you're likely to hurt yourself more than hurt the combatant. Just make one, stick a carving that. Oh, you're talking about a pole axe? I got the perfect poleaxe. Trust me, I got the knife. I got a throwing kitchen knife that throws really good and straight and true. It's a little dull, but it still will do a number on you if I put it onto a broomstick, or I can even use a stave, or I can use a staff. I got a perfect broomstick staff that will do a number on you. It's by my refrigerator. To be over here saying things like, this will be fun to watch USA fall. This is the kind of thinking is what's wrong with this world. Michelle, there are much cheaper options for weapons, swords. Not sure why you want to spend $300. I have one and it costs $60. It does the job. Well, machete would do the job too. However, the problem is Connecticut's 3-finger rule blade size for exposed blades. I don't know how you would be able to get around the 3-finger rule. Blades can be no longer than 3 inches. How in the hell are you going to get around that? It's something I haven't figured out. Like Ray LaChapelle told me, he said, you think similar rule is a 3-finger rule. If a blade is 3 inches long, in my case, the whole hand, it's like 2.5 inches. That's actually illegal once you go above 3 inches. That's more for pen knives and pocket knives, but sword is certainly longer than 3 inches. But defunding the police stuff that was being bragged about is going to mean that you're going to definitely need to have protection, because you're not going to have the police there to protect you anymore. So if you don't have the police to protect you, you better know how to do hand-to-hand combat. Or better know how to reload your own shells, or fire a blunderbuss or a flintlock. Because you might be able to find a way to make gunpowder, or you might be able to make lead balls and wadding, but you're seriously going to have a harder time than going to Walmart than just buying a case of 38 shells. The people will do that, but don't forget, if the government really thinks that tyranny is going to happen, they're going to even more tightly regulate the shells and the ammunition. So, wow. As far as the concept of European culture saying that they think America is going to fall and it's going to be fun, they have been watching America since America's founding and inception. When the Constitution was released, the European monarchies are like, oh, this isn't going to work. This ain't going to work. This is going to be a flash in the pan fizzler. Well, where most of the monarchs now? They're not around anymore. However, would we have been better off being a monarchy? That's a great question. The problem with being a monarch is twofold. One, monarchies only work good in small countries because there's easier to maintain rule. If you have a huge country like the United States, each individual state would have to be its own country and be a monarchy. Same thing with this democracy. Democracy only works really well in smaller situations, not these big, massive, mega country like the United States or Russia. I don't even know what the best way to rule the United States is. But if I was to talk to the founding fathers in person, I would have said, and I think Jefferson actually did say this: we want the states to be the individual ruling groups. The federal government is more or less to provide protection and to regulate interstate trade, but not necessarily to regulate all the other states' policies statewide. If I was to show them what happened to the Constitution, if I was to go back in century and say, hey guys, look at this news articles. You tell me what happened to your system. Your system got corrupted so bad that no one even would recognize the original founding fathers' Constitution because it doesn't apply anymore. With the amount of amendments and changes to it, it's ridiculous. I think that the United States seriously needs to have another constitutional Congress and rewrite the Constitution again. maybe individual countries states should be individual countries, and then each state would then be self-governing. Look what happened on the EU. The EU is a mess. Do you know why it's a mess? Because it was the opposite. Every single country had its own rule, had its own government, had its own policies, had its own money, had its own commerce. And all of a sudden, the European Union was created back in the 90s, and the next thing you know, actually it started way back at the League of Nations, but we'll just go back from the 90s. All of a sudden, everybody's country is finding that all their country's sovereignty rights are being eroded away by Brussels controlling everything that would used to be up to the individual country parliaments to do. So again, when you create a big government like the EU or the United States, all of a sudden it gets too bulky, too kludgy, too many ifs, ands, or buts, and the next thing you know it, no one's being served except for the well-to-do fat cats that are sitting in the upper echelons of government, basically doing all the regulating. But I still stand by one question. Who the hell wants a one-world government? Who in the hell wants to sit there regulating the lives of billions of people every day? Why? I don't even like to micromanage my own cat or myself, but I do my everyday life, right? But why would I want to micromanage 7.5 billion people? and I just don't get it. Yes, England is small, so it's hard to compare the two. Right. That's a good question, MJ, because I looked at the laws in Connecticut. It is for concealed weapons like penknives. However, a sword would definitely be open carry. It's not something you're going to be able to conceal a sword, or even a dagger. I mean, a dagger definitely would be closer to a penknife. So even if you wore it on your belt and you had it in the sheath, and the sheath is damn obvious, it's a scabbard, you can see it's a sword or whatever, it still is regulated, even for home invasions. Connecticut does not even allow a person to shoot a home invader. They do not have a stand your own ground here in Connecticut law. Anytime a home invader is involved, you must immediately call 911, and the police are immediately dispatched to deal with it. Protect yourself, be damned. You can't even protect yourself. You're expected to hide in a closet. What? No. If someone's invaded my home and it's got my family or me and my cat basically at weapons point, you're not going to have me being allowed to go ahead and defend myself? Get out of town! Of course I'm going to defend myself. I mean, it makes sense, right? And Michelle, having the sword would be a help. You hold your ground at your home. Yes, it would be. 4 people murdered in Canada last week by being with a sword. Sword has a lot of hit points of damage, especially yielded by a person that knows how to use a sword. A sword has high crit. A gun's kind of high crit too, but it doesn't leave as much of an injury as a sword does. And we're not even talking about war swords. We're not talking about great swords like the claymores. We're just talking about a typical European sword, double-edged. That's going to still do a lot of crit damage to somebody. I slam that into you, even if it's the broadside without the blade, it's still going to cause a lot of pain. If I decide to then switch it to actually have the blade facing you, that blade is going to cleave off arms and heads. That's the way a sword works. Well, to each their own. You want a rifle? That's fine. Do you know how to get your own ammunition? Because you think that the government is going to, if they really go to hell in the handbasket, do you think Walmart's going to be able to sell you your pre-made shells? You probably might be going back to a flintlock. Or packing your own shells. Because the government is going to regulate that to the point where you can't even get consumables. And like FC said, anybody can make a weapon, even out of a glass bottle. I mean, it's scary. I don't like the thought of hurting anybody, but damn, if it came down to it, I'd have no choice. I have no choice. It's not something I look forward to doing. Kyle Rittenhouse almost took off an arm with an AR-15. Okay. Right, but that's a semi-automatic. And it has a lot of feet per second of force behind it. And each one of those rounds. But the thing is if the government really seriously sees this coming and decides to limit his access to ammunition, I bet Rittenhouse would probably be using the bayonet attachment instead more than anything. Because of obvious reasons. Speaking of wish lists, I'm going to put this. I'll see if I can find the sword I wanted to get on that wish list so you guys can see the sword that we consider. Molotov cocktails, deodorant, yes, aerosol deodorants. Yeah. But it's a two-handed operation now. So, yeah. You can do the same thing with a propane cylinder, too. Just defeat the safety mechanism and fireball goes shoot out the end. Yeah, that'll do it. But that also means you could potentially burn yourself up, too, at the same time. You don't need to use it. And shotgun shells are easy to reload. Yeah, I know. Some people do them, and that's fine. But at least I don't have to worry about getting a trigger lock for my sword either, right? Doesn't mean you want to leave it loose laying around somewhere where some poor child can get to it. But I mean, I got kitchen knives. You think about that. You got sharp tools in the kitchen. And we don't see the government. Well, UK is actually, but most people don't even think about the kitchen knives. Kitchen knives with a serrated edge can still do a number on you. But that's kind of a disturbing topic. But you know what? It's kind of just the reality is that we are living in really dangerous times right now. And so that people do have to consider the fact is that safety is going to be job one. Your safety is going to be job one. You can't depend on the government police, which are being defunded left and right, to protect your butt. They won't. They can't. Because they're being defunded in democratic cities left and right. I live in a friggin' democratic state of Democrats rule everything. Even though one of the last of the few bastions of Republicans left is in Winston, in Litchfield County. The rest of our state is all Democrat. And unfortunately, what happens in Hartford doesn't stay in Hartford very long as far as ruling. Crossbows are excellent. They're quiet, but the problem is the pull. How much can you pull on the string? 160-pound pull without a crossbow winch attachment is going to be very hard for a woman to do. Okay. There's definitely crossbows are good and they're fast and they're somewhat portable and they come in different sizes. But the point is that it takes time between reload and firing. So, And also use consumables of bolts, which still going to mean you need to be able to make your own bolts, fletching, materials. But yes, a crossbow is a quiet tool. It's silent or pretty close to it, which means that if someone shot someone with a crossbow, they wouldn't necessarily know when they were shot until the bullet actually hit them. But either way, the thing is, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I really don't know. I mean, I do pray and wish that the situation would be peacefully resolved. I do wish. But, the situation in this world is getting so bad that what's the point of even having police anymore? What's the point of trying to disarm? Well, I know part of the answer to this. Don't say I don't. What's the point of potentially disarming everybody and still defunding the police at the same time? Well, that sounds like a perfect solution for population control, for culling the population. Let the other savages cull the population for you. Don't even arrest or prosecute them. Just basically let the other savages kill the other savages, and then we have less people on the earth. Then you're talking about real form of genocide, and then that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck. But it's the way it's going now with Antifa, BLM, and some other groups that want to do that. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's just going to be mass genocide. Rickinson says just we have the defunding of police up in the city government. Then we can watch Escape from New York reality TV. Right. No weapon is 100% safe to use. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, for the individual, for example, using a sword is not necessarily as lethal to the user, but even that still is sharp steel, and if you still got to maintain it, you could still be cut by your own weapon too. So if you mishandle it, so yeah, it's definitely something you got to be careful with. But I can't believe how much that we have basically our society has de-evolved to the point where it has. But one thing human beings traditionally have been good at is killing each other. I don't know why we have to be like that, but it seems that our human race is known for making better, faster weapons to kill faster, quicker, and more thoroughly. From the stones to copper to iron to brass to steel to nuclear, chemical, biological. Yeah, the better, the faster, the quicker. Just like the commercial for Raid. Nobody does it deader. Yeah, chemical weapons. Let's talk about that. I don't even know if I would want to be around neurological agents like nerve agents like VX and all this stuff. I mean, come on. You talk about a weapon that could kill the user as well as the person they're combating. Oh my lord, you nerve agents? That scares me, man. So a canister of VX out there, and you're likely to go down too in microseconds. So I mean, that's something to think about. That's scary. But I digress. Well, I'll have to see what happens, guys. I will see if I can find a sword and put it on my wish list. I would consider a good candidate. I'm sure Amazon has swords. I will look for a sword that I think would meet requirement, maybe be made out of tool steel, something that's going to be an effective sword, and see what happens. Yeah, I don't even see what Noodle says. Noodle say that. No. Unlock me on your channel so I can troll you. Michelle, I'm back. How you doing? Wait, Carrie. So anyway, I was just kind of getting wrapping up about this issue of self-defense because it's kind of it's kind of depressing, honestly. That we have to talk about this topic because it's so poignant in this time that there's a chance that society is de-evolving into this savagery. Oh my god. Um, who is threatening you, Noodles? Nobody's threatening me. I'm talking about society at large. Society at large. All the stuff that's going on is what I'm talking about. Noodles was looking for you, Carrie. By the way, tonight's show, for those of you who do watch tonight's show, we'll still continue with the night shows like they have, even though that's why I do the morning shows, because we know that topics like this one would never be able to be brought up on the night show. They would never survive. The topics would be dead in 3 minutes or less because of the way the night shows are. That's why I brought them up on today's show. As far as the ears go, I might want to still get the bigger ears anyway, just to see how they compare. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It's true. That's why we have both shows, right? So after the show, probably about 1 o'clock, or maybe even or maybe 12 noon, maybe a little bit around. I'll say around 1 because there's already 11:40. We're going to be going back to World of Warcraft. I got to finish a military campaign in World of Warcraft. That's a pretty big campaign, and I got to get this done. And then working with Garrison some more. Maybe expand the buildings, trying to get more blueprints to make my buildings bigger. Like I need to work on my barracks building and make that larger because it seems that my every garrison starts out with a barracks, and because they're like fortresses, that's what a garrison is. So I got to basically work on expanding my garrison to level 2 because I actually am available for upgrade for level 2 upgrade. So I got to get more blueprints and build up my profession checks as well. Let's see. Nice to have both shows. Okay. Michelle, I think you should watch a Viking show I saw last night. I've watched many, many shows on actual Viking combat. The Vikings, as you know, we all think that the Viking men are the only ones that went out into combat. The Viking women did also. There were, in fact, one of the famous burial sites belonged to a very powerful Viking woman herself who died in combat and was buried with her longship that she owned. So, very interesting. But don't forget tonight, tomorrow at 10 a.m., we'll have the show again like we're doing right now. So please don't be afraid to join us for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Please check your local time listings. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. like we are doing today. We'll try to combine out what's going on with the newest thing. Today, they say that they're going to try to pass a interim stimulus bill to get people stimulus money that we should have gotten all the way back in July. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but there is definitely plans to pass an interim stimulus bill. All right, guys. Sure they are, yeah. Well, either way, we'll have to see. All right, guys, so I'll see you in a little bit on the other channel. Please don't forget to share this channel with your friends. We do have both shows, and so tell them if they want the more serious meat and potatoes to watch the morning show. If they're looking for a little more comic relief, watch the 7 o'clock show. And so that's what we'll do, and try to cover more content for more people. And COVID vaccine has been developed. No need for a stimulus now. Oh, wrong. The vaccine may have been developed or be in development, but there is still a need for a stimulus check, despite what anybody says. And they know that they owe us that they should have given us in July. But all right, guys. Anyway, I digress. I'll see you. Oh yes. By the way, I'm gonna try to get some more pictures of my characters in the game, because I'm trying to make a photo album of my characters and for the game. I know that sounds stupid, right? A photo album of my NPC of my characters, but I kind of really would like to keep them around as memories, because they're they're part of me. Every single character in the World of Warcraft game is a piece of me. And if you watch the game enough and you see how I play the game, you'll get to know the real Michelle without any kind of masks or special preconceived notions. Just me as I am. Because you can watch in the gameplay, you'll see me in the gameplay. You'll notice what I'm really like. Yeah, I want to see you train for Armageddon with night gear. You mean like a blood knight or a death knight? I'm not sure if I'd be ready to go for Death Knight. My characters, almost all of them, are priests and mages. I got most of them are Frost Mage. I have one that's an Arcane Mage, and I have two warriors. Finally, my warrior characters are finally leveling up, and they've certainly gotten better at causing a lot of damage. Trust me. But in real life, I really am I'm more of an empathetic person. I don't like hurting people without just cause, which caused me a lot of personal dilemmas in the game, trying to decide what is the best play to play without hurting people I don't have to hurt in the game. And so that's why I play PvE and not PvP. Because I'm not out there to hurt actual players. I don't want to hurt the real players in the game. All right, guys. That's it for today. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. and, of course, tonight at 7. And for those of you who want to join me in the World of Warcraft gameplay, I'm going to say either around 12 noon, which is about 15 minutes or so, or maybe a little after that. So for a few hours, because we got to work on finish the military campaign I'm on. And so that'll be on the other channel, which has been let you know. Also, I need to update my watch or my wish list so that we can cover swords, because there's no swords in there, no knives. I definitely also, while we're at it, we need a shield. Only problem is that means that limits me to a one-hand sword, which is smaller and lighter, but it's going to have less hit points of damage. Whereas a two-handed sword or hand-and-a-half sword can be used for blocking as well. So a shield would be a good weapon as well. Polycarbonate? Probably, but is it going to resist bullets? I don't know. Michelle, can you create a flag design? You could carry a flag around town to indicate which army. So, sure, the Silvermoon. They already have flag patterns for Silvermoon. yeah, I could put something like a flag. I don't really know if anybody would necessarily know what a blood elf is, but there are. I see. I'm not really horde, and I'm not really alliance. I really am more of for the Silvermoon or Quathalos. I'm a blood elf, so I would probably use the blood elf symbol. And once everybody go, what the hell's a blood elf? Well, and then of course there's also night elves, void elves, darkborn or nightborn elves. My lord, just so many different groups. Uh, so I mean, just to say alliance or horde is one thing. It's easy. There's star flags, there's standards for night elves. I mean, for horde and alliance. But since I play both horde and alliance, I would have to have both standards because I play both. All right, that's true. We need to know what side the citizens are on. That would be fun to see. So I have the idea of you leading the alliance. Um, well, I lead more for Silvermoon, for Questlas, not so much for Alliance or Horde. But that's another story. We could talk about that on the other channel. Right now, I gotta get ready to go finish drinking my coffee and get ready to get up. I'm already up and dressed, but I mean, I gotta get ready to go to the other channel. I'm gonna do some updates in the system as well. So I'll be over there on the other channel a little bit. Maybe design it. We can make material for real. Hang it on your wall. Atmosphere channel. Yeah, I could do that. Get the night elf standard or blood elf standard. I mentioned night elves because believe it or not, I also play night elves too. I play blood elves and I play night elves. I'm even playing a void elf of all things. Which are interesting creatures. So like I said, I play night elves, I play blood elves, and I play a void elf. I'm not playing Darkborn yet, but maybe I could try Darkborn under the PTR. But for me, I really love Silvermoon, so Silvermoon is my home, and that's where it brings a real quick question up. What's garrisons? Why can't I have a garrison that looks like something that would be more comfortable for a night elf or for a blood elf? I mean, like, really? Like, well, I mean, do I have to have mud and spikes? Could they have nice walls and beautiful colors and arches in my garrison? It's like, oh, that doesn't work that way. No, fine. But that doesn't mean my house has to be like made out of mud and spikes, right? No. All right. So, guys, let's see. The single most worst thing for you to do is to support people who keep attacking me. I do. I oh, noodles. Oh, noodles. I see. Okay. Okay. Because I don't support people that attack you, Carrie. I don't really want to support anybody that attacks anybody. I really just want to have a free dialogue among all people. Thank you very much, Carrie. I try really hard to be. I really do put an effort in to be loyal and genuine and kind and peaceful. And that's one thing you can determine. You can see that when I play the game because that's when I basically don't have any kind of facade. That's when you see me play in my raw form. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just about we wrap it up anyway. But the thing is that like I said, everybody, I'm going to be going into World of Warcraft in a little bit on the other channel. I do want to go ahead and update my wish list to include a sword and maybe even a knife, so that we can have some basic weapons here. You're going to get a whetstone. You're going to need a whetstone. You're going to need mineral oil. Yes, I will have to put whetstone and mineral oil on the list too. All right. I know you're a very good person. That's one thing I admire about you, is that you always defend people and refuse to betray them. Thank you. All right, guys. I will be here tomorrow at 10, and of course, we will be on tonight at 7. So, everybody, please don't forget to invite your friends to join, people that you think will enjoy the show. I know that the people can't stand it because it's too boring, but, oh well. All right, guys, let's just wrap this up for now. And you can see, like I said, these ears are staying in place. They are not falling off. See, I can weave my hair and they don't go anywhere. Hey, stay right there. All right. See you later tonight, guys. See you also on the other channel in a little bit. Where's the stupid thing up? There it is. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.